Okay, well, thank you very much. Good afternoon to all of you. Ang mga kababayan ko po dito sa Malaysia, sa Kuala Lumpur, sa West Malaysia, dyan po sa Sabah, East Malaysia, particularly dyan po sa Kota Kinabalu City, the lone city of Sabah, East Malaysia, or Sabah. Kumusta kayo po? Today, it's Monday, another start of a brand new week, working week natin po. I hope everything is running smoothly sa buhay natin po, sa mga trabaho natin po. And sana lang po, we started the week, the week in a very good spirit, and we will end the week, working week po, with a very, very satisfactory result po. No? Hindi lang para sa atin, ang mga workers, OFWs, but also to our, sabihin natin, for the sake of our employers, Malaysian employers po. Once again, Nico Fabian, nandito po sa programa natin, Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico, and I'm inviting you to join itong programa natin today, August 11 na po. Alright? So today, may mga topics that we are going to discuss. And as early as now, I would like to say that I won't stay long sa program natin for today, Monday, dahil po bago lang ako dumating dito po sa Kuala Lumpur o sa West Malaysia po. West Malaysia, ang capital ng West Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. It's a very beautiful city po, no? Parang Manila din ito. And of course, when we talk about developments dito sa Kuala Lumpur po, maganda po, no? We have a lot of, sabihin natin, beautiful places to visit, particularly those who intend to do their holidays dito sa West Malaysia or dito po sa Malaysia. One of the very, very known tourist attraction dito po sa West Malaysia or dito sa Kuala Lumpur is the Petronas Twin Tower po. What year was that? The tallest tower in the world, ang Petronas Twin Tower. And hanggang ngayon po, almost or every day makita natin po ang dami mga turista, Europeans, Asians, when they come to visit Malaysia. It won't be completed ang holiday nila or ang visit nila dito sa Malaysia if they don't go to visit and see the Twin Tower. Maganda po. And in terms of sabihin natin security, no problem tayo ito. Maganda ang security dito sa Malaysia. Economy-wise, okay. When we talk about political stability, okay. Kaya nga, I used to tell you, for a country to succeed, to progress, and the standard of living of its people will level up further, we must have three things. Stabilities, political stability, economic stability, and of course, ang security stability. With these three factors, then it won't be impossible for the country, particular country, having these three factors po, will progress. So Malaysia is one glaring example. Sana lang po ang Philippines will be like Malaysia soon, if not too soon po. Sa ngayon, medyo may problema tayo sa political stability. Sa security, wala masyado na ang problema natin dyan po sa Pilipinas. Dahil itong local terrorism, foreign terrorism activities carried out before in the Philippines, we managed to tone down na po, minimize na po. No? And of course, ang economic stability natin is still, we are facing problem po. Because what? Because of graft and corruption. Not only in the private sector, but also in the government at saka mga politicians natin. So today we are going to discuss, I will read an article published dyan po sa mainstream media sa Pilipinas, and I will quote it, I'm getting it from Philstar. It's a mainstream print media in the Philippines, and the details of the news article po, focus dyan po na confirm pala, no? confirm na there are a lot of development projects, particularly flood mitigation projects being implemented by our incumbent president, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Since day one, he became the president of the Philippines last 2022, no? 2022. And the vice president, of course, is si Inday Sara Duterte. They won in the 2022 presidential election as a tandem candidate, president and vice president. And they are carrying the banner yun, unity government po. Maganda sana yan po, but unfortunately, after 2 years, something went wrong. And now, wala na tayo po ang unity between the president and the vice president. So may conflict na po between the Marcoses and the Dutertes. But anyway, let's talk about itong sabi natin, corruption, ang mga projects sa Pilipinas. Confirmado, once again, I would like to inform our mga followers ko dito sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. It is now confirmed that there are a lot of development projects, particularly those related to flood mitigation projects natin sa Pilipinas are questionable. And sino nagsabi yun po? The one who confirmed is no other than our incumbent president, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. During a gathering po this morning dyan po sa Pilipinas. Anyway, sige, it's a sad story, it's a sad news. But kailangan din ng mga Filipinos po, kagaya natin dito sa Malaysia, mga kababayan ko po, at saka mga kababayan ko o natin po sa Pilipinas and elsewhere, especially ang mga overseas Filipino workers dyan po sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo, iba-ibang parte ng mundo, who are doing the level best to help the country. Working abroad is not a joke. Ang dami tayong mga problema. The risk is too high for us being victim of abuses. That we cannot deny. And mahirap ang buhay po. A lot of sacrifices po. But because of our love to our loved ones which we left behind in the Philippines, temporarily, nasa labas ang mga OFWs, overseas Filipino workers. And in one way or the other, indirectly or directly, we are helping the economy of the Philippines through our monthly, daily, weekly, monthly remittances dyan po sa Pilipinas. And unfortunately, now, it is already or has been confirmed that a lot of projects, development projects in the Philippines are questionable. And this has been confirmed by no other than our President Ferdinand Marcos. Anyway, sige, let's start. Let me share with you this news article, and later on I will support this news that I'm going to share with you with video clips po. Also, I'm getting it from the Philstar, ang news nila. But anyway, to start with, sabihin natin, heading of the news article is Marcos flags 300 billion pesos in flood control projects lacking key details. Yan po ang details o ang heading ng news article that I'm going to share with you in just a few seconds from now. Okay, let's start na tayo po. Most flood control projects initiated since 2022 lack key details, with 6,021 out of the 9,855 failing to specify the type of structures built according to the probe President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered. Remember, last month, during the State of the Nation address of President Bongbong Marcos, he even mentioned this word, mahiya kayo. he was referring to individuals, companies awarded with projects, but unfortunately, questionable projects po. Either it was not completed, harshly done, without following the specifications of the project, and some are ghost projects, no? And this is for this reason why the President, si Bongbong Marcos, ordered the authorities concerned to conduct investigation or probe po. And ang findings ngayon po, according to the President, that out of the 9,855 projects, 6,021 failed to comply with the key details of the project. Ibig sabihin po, malaking question mark po. You just imagine, 9,855 projects, out of that total 9,585 projects, 6,021. And remember, during last year, SONA, President Marcos also mentioned that mayroon na daw, nagawa na daw ang gobyerno niya po. 5,500 flood mitigation projects po to address the problem of flash flood. Diyan po sa Pilipinas, sa Metro Manila, sa Visayas, sa Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. A total of 5,500 projects. But after the announcement last year, ni President Marcos during his SONA 2024 yata yon, after 2 days, dumating ang bagyo and Manila was submerged. Not only Manila, but many other areas in the Philippines. And just last month, he confirmed again that mayroon daw po questionable projects dyan po sa Pilipinas. And of lately, in my, sabihin natin, blogging ko po, one glaring example is the pumping station dyan po sa Tondo, Manila. The project is worth 744 million pesos, but hanggang ngayon po, never functional. Never functional. The amount was paid fully to the contractor, yet it is not functional. Yet it is not functional until today. And for it to be functional, naghingi pa ulit po ang contractor another 90 million to rectify the problem po and make the project functional. And just imagine, grabe po. And I suppose the President is not happy with what is happening po. Hindi lang dyan po sa Metro Manila. Hindi lang yun po sa Tondo. Marami pa mga iba-ibang project that has been identified. And apparently, although it's not yet confirmed, there are lawmakers, congressmen involved in this anomaly. Controversial projects po. Controversial projects. Not only in the projects carried out by the Department of Public Works and Highway, even dyan po sa Education Department natin po. For example, sabihin natin yon laptop, no? Laptop ba yun? O tablets supposed to be given to the students, schools throughout or nationwide dyan po sa Pilipinas. Wala sa specification. Mahina po. Damage na po. May problema po ang mga tablets or laptop ba yun? No? And sino po involved in this who was awarded with this project? Apparently, reportedly, allegedly, it was one of the lawmakers natin po sa House of Representatives. So, okay. Klarong-klaro yan po, no? Kawawa ang mga Pilipino po, ang bayan natin. I will continue to read this news article. Mahirap, no? That the figure amount to 61.1% of the total representing 350 billion pesos in spending. So it means 6,021 projects questionable out of the 9,855. The amount, total amount worth of the project po is 350 billion pesos. And it is 61.1%. Huh? Of course, 6,000, 9,000 is 61.1%. At the press conference on Monday or today, Marcos presented preliminary findings from the audit, including the list of projects and contractors. These are 6,021 projects worth more than 350 billion that do not specify the exact type of flood control that is being built. Then many projects also in different locations have exactly the same contract cost, Marcos said on August 8. Okay ba? No problem. My girl, no problem. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, may bisita natin dito po. Nandito tayo sa bahay ng anak ko po, si Saint Fabian, dito sa Kuala Lumpur. And isang kapatid niya is arriving, so medyo siya, no? Dahan-dahan siya in opening the door, kaya nga sabi ko, no problem. So yun po, there are 6,021 projects worth more than 350 billion pesos that do not specify the exact type of flood control that is being built. You just imagine there is no specification. They did not follow the specified details of the projects. That's why we have this kind of a problem mo. Questionable projects. It is impossible for one barangay, even if they are the next barangay, to have the exact same project to the exact same amount with the exact same contractor. Listen carefully po, mga followers natin po dito sa NICTOC. Sabi ni Marcos, it is impossible, very impossible for one barangay, even if they are the next barangay, to have the exact same project to the exact same amount with the exact same contractor. Imagine that. Marcos also unveiled a website called Sumbong sa Pangulo, or in English, Complain to the President, where the public can search flood control projects by location, see ongoing works and costs, and click a large report button to flag the concern. Sabi ni Marcos, I encourage everyone to look into this. And say your piece. Say your piece. I encourage everyone to look into this and say your piece. Like what others say. We see what is not good, but we don't have anywhere to go. Now, you have some place to go. Now, you go to me directly via itong website po. Yun po ang hingi ni President Bongbong Marcos. Marcos vowed to personally review the complaints. The President acknowledged that the probe could affect even those close to him. We have to clean our ranks, he said. Masin, walang favoritism. In other words, what Marcos is saying, walang favoritism. Even yung mga tao involved sa kalokohan, sa corruption po, even close to him, then sorry na lang. The President acknowledged that the probe could affect even those close to him. We have to clean our ranks, he said. Marcos ordered the audit in his fourth State of the Nation address, linking corruption in flood control projects to the widespread flooding triggered by the southwest monsoon and tropical cyclones. He told officials he he blamed for the problem to be ashamed of themselves. Yun na nga. Ang word that he used in Tagalog is mahiya kayo. Sana lang po, mahiya kayo po, no? Mga involved dyan. At saka, sana lang po, ha? Sana lang po, I hope that this time around, although may sabihan yan po, is better late than never, kaya dapat sana yun, since day one, when Marcos became the president, 2022, he should have immediately do it, no? Check itong mga projects. But it took him, after 3 years, then only now he's looking into the problem. But anyway, it's better late than never. And I hope po na ito na po, no? Ito na po, Marcos is very sincere, sincere in making sure that his words will be turned into action po. And it won't be another empty promises to the Filipino communities po. Pagod na ang mga Filipinos. We are tired and sick of this thing po. Balik-balik na lang, repetition after repetitions, promises after promises, yet nothing happened. And now, worst thing po, now we know billions of money are being spent for nothing. Nasaan na yun po, napunta mga pera? Sa bulsa ba nila? Kung hindi sa bulsa nila po, how come these projects are questionable? How come po, bridges collapse? Bridges collapse here and there in the Philippines. Yet, a lot of money given to the authorities concerned, kagaya ng Department of Public Works of Highway, to make sure that the interest and welfare of the Filipinos was properly protected. But see what happened. Anyway, bago sa lahat, before we continue with this thing po, I would like to shout out muna tayo kay Mary Lou Pentojo is watching itong program natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. I am praying very hard po. I'm praying very hard that this corruption activities, abuse of powers, no? Sa mga government officials natin dyan po sa Pilipinas, no? Ang mga politicians, if they will be found guilty, mga lawmakers po, if they will be found guilty by the court beyond reasonable doubts, no? Justice will be given to the taxpayers po. They should be punished and projects should be rectified immediately po. Kasi kawawa ang mga Filipinos. Alright? This time around, I would like to share with you ang video clip ni President Bongbong Marcos on the issue. Nandito po. Let's listen to this.
Maybe there are certain...
Hold on,
There are certain already initial findings that we have made during the ongoing investigation that we have initiated since the SONA. And I think it is interesting for people to look into so that it can be a guide as to where maybe the problems have arisen. And these are key findings on flood control projects. Can we put that up? Yeah. These are basic data lang ito. Next page. Yeah. The total cost of all of the projects since July 2022 until today is 545 billion pesos. I don't know about you, but that is a very big number by any measure. That is an enormous number. Let's keep going. Another observation is that there are 6,021 projects worth more than 350 billion that do not specify the exact type of flood control that is being built. Then, many projects also in different locations have exactly the same contract cost. I think anybody who works in either the private sector or the public sector, pag sinabi, may 50 project, pare-pareho, 150 million lahat. Pare-pareho lahat. Imposible yan. It is impossible for one barangay, even if they are the next barangay, to have the exact same project to the exact same amount with the exact same contractor. Imposible yan. And that is why that is a significant finding already that we have made. Now, can you keep going, please? What's in it? There. So, we looked at the regions kung saan ang pinakamarami. And this is what came out. So, that's something that we have to dig deeper into. Parang yung NCR, that makes sense kasi talagang yung flood problem nandiyan. Pero titignan pa natin yan. Tapos, Region 3, well, they're flood prone. But, tignan natin why as opposed to other places that have that are also flood prone. Okay, next. Here, I think you can analyze this for yourself. I don't need to explain this. These are the provinces with the most projects. And at the same time, here's a list of the top 10 provinces that are most flood prone, that have been assessed to be the most flood prone. I think you will notice they don't necessarily match. This side and that side don't necessarily match. Now, I'm sure there are explanations for that. We will have to study it further. But you would intuitively say that projects, the areas rather, the provinces or regions, whatever you want to do, whatever pinaka-flood prone, yun dapat ang pinaka-maraming project. Pero parang hindi tumutugma. Kaya yan, kailangan natin pag-aralan na mabuti kung bakit nagkaganyan. And, well, this is just another piece of information. Out of 170 pumping stations, I think that's the next one, yeah. Pumping stations, 157 were in Metro Manila. This really, more than anything, manifests how the pumping stations have become ineffective because of the garbage collection problem. So that's indicative of that. Kaya namin linagay yan dyan. Kaya dahil para malaman ng tao, gawa tayo ng gawa nitong pumping station, pag yung basura naman ay natapon, napara yung bomba, napara yung estero, napara lahat, kagaya yung pinuntahan natin nung bag ng last week, wala rin silbi yung pumping station. And that's just to bring home the message that we really have to do something about the garbage problem. There are, let's see, yeah, this is it's all over there are 2,409 contracting entities, which is understandable. Kasi sa local, ganyan talaga yan. May AA, AAA, yun lang ang pwede niyong gamitin. And pag yung maliliit na project, the local can do it already. So that's not, just to show paano yung nagkahatian. However, this is another disturbing assessment statistic. 20% of the entire 545 billion budget napunta lang sa 15 na kontraktor. Sa 15 na kontraktor na yan,
Grabe.
5 sa kanila ay may kontrata sa buong Pilipinas. Keep going. Yeah, with the flood, ito na yung listahan. And this is what I was talking about. 5 of these 15 contracts are projects in almost all regions nationwide. Ang justification sa pagpili ng kontratista ay para sasabihin, pagbigyan naman natin yung local. Di ba? Para naman yung mga maliliit na contractor, may trabaho naman sila. At mas mabilis kasi kung local. Kausap mo yung tao eh. Again, my experience as governor is that as much as possible, we try to do it by local. Kasi pwede namin, may madali, sabi, bilisan nyo na, bakit wala pa, pwede mong ano yan, you have some influence over the thing. But that one, that for me was the one that stood out very much. 5 of these contractors had projects in almost the entire country. So those are the ones that immediately pop out na sa aking palagay ay kailangan natin tignan. So anyway, this is the initial. We are rolling out the website today. We have provided you with some of the initial information that we have had. They are not assessments. We are not accusing anyone of anything yet. However, it gives us an idea of how this has been conducted. So I hope people will take advantage of this. And as I said, there is always a way for them to give their comments. Magsumbong sila kung yun ang gusto nilang gawin. Maaari naman, sasabihin na, hindi, walang problema dito. Yun ang pinakamagandang balita na matatanggap namin. So I encourage everyone to look into this and say your piece. Kasi parang sinasabi ng mga iba, nakikita naman namin hindi maganda pero wala naman kami mapuntahan, wala naman kami malapitan. Ngayon meron na. Ngayon meron na kayo malalapitan. Ito, ang lalapitan na ngayon ninyo, ako mismo. Dahil akong titingin dito araw-araw sa website natin at babasahin ko ang mga report na ibibigay ng taong bayan. So this is the first step. We are going to keep going. This is something that is, I think, absolutely necessary. We have to clean our ranks. This is it might be a little painful. Baka masangkot dyan yung mga tao na malapit sa atin. Ngunit kahit malapit sila sa atin, mas malapit naman siguro sa puso natin yung taong bayan. Kaya silang unahin natin. Alright.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang presidente natin mismo po, no? Who explained to us what are the things that he is doing now. And the way he talked, the way he explained po, parang seryoso na po si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos on solving itong mga problema natin po, particularly itong flash flood problems sa Pilipinas po. He mentioned about the pumping stations po. I hope itong pumping station na nagiging bulgar na po dyan sa Tondo, Manila, will one project that President Bongbong Marcos should immediately look into it and give us also the report po sa publiko po. Ano mga actions taken against this contractor. Imagine 15 lang pala yun na contractors po nationwide. No? So, ito nga Tondo, a pumping station, and it has been confirmed not only by ang congressman na dyan po sa affected district. Ano yun? District 2 yata yun sa Metro Manila. Sa Manila po, ang congressman. Now, confirmed na it's not functional. And also, the Department of Public Works and Highways already confirmed na hanggang ngayon, hindi yun functional. Yet, the money was fully paid to the contractor. And yet, the contractor is still asking for another lump sum of money to rectify or to make the project functional. So, John po, yes, I also agree with the President and whatever report he received from the agencies concerned, that ang basura, garbage is a problem. Kuwak ang mga drainage natin, ang mga rivers natin po dahil the attitude of our fellow countrymen. We are used of indiscriminately throwing our rubbish po. without concern. Huh? And once the flood comes, we put the blame on the government. So kailangan po, tayo po, we have to, tayo, ang mga tao, the public should cooperate with the government po if we want. Because the government cannot solve the problem alone. Without your cooperation po, without our cooperation, the problem will never be solved. The problem will never be solved. So, I hope we will also change our mindsetting, our attitude po when it comes to this problem. When it comes to this problem po. Mahirap na po if we are not going to do something. To do something. Mahirap na po. Kaya nga, let's all work together and if we want our country to be clean, wala tayong problema, wala tayong flash flood problems, even though or despite we yearly face something like maybe 15 to 20 typhoons a year po, no? And ano na yan po, this is already part of our life. Kaya nga sabi ni President Bongbong Marcos during his previous statements po, no? It's already norm na yun po. Parte na yan po ng buhay ng mga Pilipino po. Since time immemorial, ganun na talaga ang buhay ng mga Filipino when it comes to the rainy season. Pagdating ng typhoon natin, ang mga floods natin po. But it doesn't mean kung ganun na po, we will just accept it as ganun na. No? The more we have to do something, the more the government should do something po to address the problem because it has been there for quite a long time na po. No? Quite a long time na po. And I hope with this kind of pledge, promises ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po, I hope before he steps down as the President of the Philippines come 2028, no? He will leave a very, very memorable, respectable, and good legacy. Ang legacy ni Marcos po. Maskin ito na lang po, i-solve the problem of flash flood dyan po sa Pilipinas. Siguro pwede na po. We'll be thankful. Kagaya ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, one of his legacies po is dyan po, ang droga. Ang droga, ang problem of illegal drugs in the Philippines. That is the legacy. People remembered him for his determination, commitment in making sure that security will be given top priorities sa mga Filipinos po. Sa mga Filipinos. The people's park will be enjoyed by the people. No? And he did that during his time. Although, unfortunately, nasa, siya ngayon po, under the custody of the International Criminal Court and facing allegations or charges involving crime against humanity po. And next month, ang hearing niya po, the ICC will hear his charges po, September 23. And let's see po, we'll continue to monitor ang situation ni Tatay Digong and we hope that nothing will happen to Tatay Digong while under the custody of the International Criminal Court po, dyan po sa detention center na The Hague. He's already 80 years old and marami na siyang pong health problems and sana lang po he will be returned back to the Philippines and continue his remaining days po dito sa mundo. Enjoy na siya po because he did a very, very good job for the Philippines when he was the President of the Philippines from 2016 hanggang 2022. So, yun ang latest natin dito po sa Nick Talk, Daily Talk with Nico. As what I said earlier, hindi tayo pwede magtagal po kasi bago lang tayo dumating dito sa Kuala Lumpur. And I will be having some meetings sa mga business associates, friends natin po dito sa Kuala Lumpur. But anyway, a thousand apology because I cannot stay longer ngayon sa vlogging natin po. But I'll make sure that kung ano naman mayroon mga importante, things that I believe that you should know. Maybe I won't be able to be the first one to do the breaking news po. But at least I will make sure that you will be properly informed po of any breaking news sa Pilipinas. Okay? So, in the meantime, hanggang dito na lang ang Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. Once again, I would like to say, mga OFWs, Overseas Filipino Workers, ingat kayo po kung nasan man kayo ngayon. And let's keep our name, good reputation natin as good employees, workers po. And let's do what we are supposed to do, and let us not forget, thank our creator, si God, si Allah, o kung sino man, how you call your own creator po. Let us not forget to thank Him. So, with this, once again, Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.